No, actually, shouldn't you be writing something now instead of looking at me about to tell you something quite personal about. Yeah, okay. You're definitely not going to write now, are you? Okay, look, small thing, really, really small. Recently, I was accused of being a practical writer. It's only been in my head now for 7 weeks, and it was just meant as an observation, okay, a description maybe. I am a full-time freelance writer. I suppose I have to do this as well as wanting to do it so much. But it did also land. It also felt a bit like an accusation. And weirdly, part of it felt like I had come across to this person as being certain of myself, sure of my writing kind of thing. And we're writers, and I do know writers who are very sure of their writing, and then I kind of envy them. It'd be nice like that. Be like that for an hour or so. That'd be good. Yeah, but let me show you something, okay? Something I seem to need. Something, I mean, really, really tiny, and yeah, maybe even a bit ridiculous. That seems to help me in my, frankly, total writerly lack of confidence. But this has to just be between you and me. Between you, me, and your iPhone. No one else. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as always, is for writers, whether we're confident or not, who write confidently or not on Macs and iPhones and iPads. Do subscribe because there's always so much to talk about, and usually it's things that I'm really keen to dive into, or maybe even to shout about loudly because I'm so into them and I want you to have them, have the fun of them, the use of them, the value of them that I have. And I'm just putting it off now, aren't I? Because really this time, I don't know what I think about this, but I can't have you watching me think. So here's the thing. Every afternoon, my iPhone will ping me with a notification, and it will be like this, or this, or this. At the moment, I've got about four lines that I wrote when I was really very low, and which at the time they seemed a bit pointless, but somehow, even then, I thought it might help at some point. It's also less about writing. So I've been doing this kind of other thing, this practical thing. There you go, practical writer. Where in order to know that this thing was working, it doesn't matter what it is, but I needed to know it had gone off and done it. So I had a notification pop up to say, yeah, William, it's done. Okay. Whatever time I ran that at whatever time of day it was that I first set it up, and every day after that, the notification would just pop up and say, yeah, done or still done, whatever it was. And I didn't need it anymore. Okay, but I kept not getting around to switching all of that off. And I found it got so, even though it was every day and it was always at the same time, I was always surprised when it popped up. Or actually, no, this is probably why it worked more. I wouldn't notice it pop up. I'd be busy writing or something, but then later on, a few minutes, a couple of hours later, I would pick up my phone, and there this notification would be waiting for me on my iPhone, or actually on my Apple Watch sometimes. So in practice, yeah, it was being sent at a very specific time that I picked, I suppose, but in practice I was seeing it almost randomly pop up times. That's what it felt like. And then when I eventually did get rid of that practical notification that I no longer needed, I wondered, being surprised by a notification that I have set up myself, maybe that's not a bad thing. So here's the thing. Now, I do know what time I set this up to pop up, but I don't remember. And every day I either get this reassuring notification at the moment it pops up, or whenever I next pick up the phone or my watch. And yeah, it seems to help. If you don't think it's of any value to you at all, and or actually look at that and you think, yeah, I know how that works, well, I've got nothing else for you this week. Please go watch something else. Go write that thing you were going to be writing before you started watching it. I've just opened my heart and my neuroses to you. It's fine. If you can use this, or if you just want to know how it's done because you can think of something else that's similar, well, let me tell you that, because it's only going to take a thrice and a half. Whole thing is done in shortcuts. I wrote the whole thing on my iPhone, but actually let me show you here in shortcuts on the Mac, because bigger screen, clearer, yeah, whatever. First, name your shortcut. I realized after a bit that the notification that pops up pops up with the title. So I called this Listen to Me because, yeah, title's there. I didn't want to have it pop in my face as Untitled Shortcut 17. Didn't feel like that would really be reassuring or in some way motivational. I don't know. So named it. Then search for the list action and drag that in. I wrote those 4 lines you can see there. You can click the plus sign to add more, and maybe I will. Actually, after talking to you, kind of fessing up about it, I might add a few more. But for now, you next search for list actions and you click on it, or you drag get item from list. With that in place, you click in the first box right there and you choose random item. The last part should already say list, because the way shortcuts works, it's below the list. It should be getting that from the line above, but you could also click in there and specify that you want the list above. Don't bother unless it doesn't work. Now, search for notification and click or drag across show notification. Now click in that box and choose item from list. That's it. Well, that's it for what you want shown to you in this reassuring notification. Now we kind of just have to get it shown, and for that, it does need to go over to the iPhone. On your iPhone, open shortcuts. There you go. It's already there in there somewhere. Well, I've got loads. You can't see mine. Or you might be able to spot right there at the top. More importantly, there's an automation tab, a button at the very bottom of the shortcut screen on the iPhone. Tap that. Now the the plus sign that's now appeared at the top right. Of the 2 choices there, choose personal automation. I figure this is about as personal as it gets, really. And I didn't think I wanted anybody else to know about it, but there you go. I suggest of these choices now of when it appears, you pick the top one, time of day. Sunrise or sunset, that's not a bad idea. I'm usually working then, but yeah, for now, tap this time of day button. And unless you are doing this in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, I suggest that the time, whatever the time is that it defaults to, it's fine. You know, you can of course choose any time. When I did that practical example for that thing I actually had to work on, well, I got to this stage, I looked at the watch, figure I just picked a time 5 minutes from now. So I could go off and get something done on that first day, but then still see that it had happened. For this more reassurance type of notification, I didn't care. I just picked whatever time I was doing this. Not true. I mean, yeah, it's true. I picked the time that it was, but there was a bit of me that figured, if this is all on my mind right now, this need for writer reassurance, well, then maybe this is the time of day that I tend to really need that. I don't know. But I picked that time. Then tap next, tap add action. In the search box there, you type shortcuts, or really you just begin to, don't you, because it starts filling it out. When you see shortcuts appear in the list, tap that. Now tap on run shortcut. Lots of tapping here. Tap in the box there to choose which shortcut. As I say, I mean, I have a lot, so I can either scroll down or you can search at the top. And it's so close to being done now, but not quite. So that's bits small but important. You tap next. By default, look at the screen, it says that last line, ask before running, it will be turned on. Turn it off right now, and confirm that you mean it by tapping don't ask on the dialog that appears. If it also comes up with that other one, notify when run, and that is turned on, we'll turn that off too, because otherwise what will happen is your iPhone will ask, can I surprise you with a reassuring notification? Then it will show you the notification, and then it will tell you I showed you, and yet no, just give me the reassurance I apparently need and get out of there. So, oh, nearly forgot. Tap done, and now you're set. Yeah, no, I don't know why this. Actually, I don't know how much it helps me. It's just there are days it pops up and it's struck, whatever, out the way, get on with something. And there are other days when it just gives me a moment's pause, and I think, yeah, actually, that was good. Sometimes just enough that it's worth it. I don't know why writing, as a species, why we ever need help. We should just be getting on with it. Should be being practical. It's one word after another. Get on with it. But, well, sometimes I do. Maybe you do too. Listen, I know this for certain. I did just reveal something of myself as a writer that I usually hide. I mean, if I was trying to sell you a book on writing on something, I wouldn't be going off doing this spiel, practical stuff. I don't know. The thing is, you know that, you recognise that. This is you and me talking writer to writer. And you know that whenever you can do this in anything in your writing, whether it's writing a silly, reassuring notification or a serious novel, when you can do this, when you can make that personal, you run a risk, okay? But you also create a real connection with a reader or an audience. Remember, not everyone will like it. Certainly plenty of people will dislike it. But the ones who do, the one you reach, the one you connect to, well, that's worth it. The more personal you can be about yourself, the further into you that you're able to dig, the more your writing can reach other people. It's a funny thing, this writing lark, isn't it? That's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself. Hey, it's important. Maybe this is something that will help you with that. But writing more, that definitely does. So write more. And I'll see you soon.